is a special champion to SKT. Now SKT, let's just see the Ezreal, the Lucian being banned away here, and the Karma. So Karma, Ezreal, Lucian for SKT should probably be the bans.
If it's anything else, are you going to be angry?
I will tilt right off this broadcast desk. I'm going to walk right down there. Take the headset off, Zephyr.
Oh, no.
Like, listen. Reddit
I'm a coach, by the way. Let me take over.
Alright, so here we go. Jace now banned away by Gen.G, again targeting Khan. Very interesting, by the way. Cassiopeia not being targeted by either of these teams. She's still extremely strong. I'm trying to think of an adjective to describe her that is, you know, allowed without breaking TOS. And
mind-bogglingly.
Yes, there you go. Excellent.
I just made that one myself, yeah.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah, you know, a lot of teams have tried it and failed with it, and I guess over the course of scrims and pro play, teams have just said, well, we're not really liking it. Even though it is strong, we haven't been able to pilot it to success. So a lot of teams have moved away from it for sure. There's the Ezreal. We get a little clap for that one. Finally.
I can put my jacket back on now. I don't have to go down there. But this does mean that the Urgot is given away to Gen.G. And I do think that Urgot and Thresh are probably the two premier first picks right now. But we'll see how SK Telecom wants to respond to this now with Jace taken off the table. And not wanting to go the route of Sylas, and that's not something that you can do early. He does need multiple good ultimate targets. But Khan also did look uncomfortable on it in game number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I saw a Khan.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
Did they hear us? Oh, no, they
God, what? I feel like Jim from America.
Anti-hype? Like, come
on. Oh, God.
Kaisa, really? I mean, there aren't a couple of big 80 carries that are taken off the board, but Kaisa coming in is very interesting. You can see Ruler definitely just immediately hop onto a Sivir in response.
Well, Sivir is the considered answer to the Kaisa in the bottom lane. And so Ruler probably going to be comfortable on that champion here. And this game is SK Telecom's team composition. You think about what they have right now. They have the Engage inside of Sion. They have scaling inside of Kaisa, but it's already being met by Gen.G with that Sivir. And it looks like they're going to accompany this with a Braum. We talked about this in the previous draft. Braum, a little flexible, able to both offer Engage and Disengage. And so with the Urgot as well up there on a top island, you could definitely just go for mid and jungle priority and play around bottom to get that Sivir ahead, and that could definitely cause trouble for SK Telecom here. So see how they want to lock this in. Looks like they're hovering Alistar right now.
Yeah. We were zooming in on Faker. I mean, there is something you can consider. Maybe take a mid pick and then ban out 2 counters to it if you want to do it early and then counter pick for some other lane, but looks like already what should be top lane is picked. Maybe want to save that counter pick for mid lane as a last pick, as Alistar picked up. Definitely another one of these big-time supports in the current meta.
And we'll see what SK Telecom wants to ban away as we're down to 1 second. Whoa. Ooh. What is that? My eyes. Lissandra, okay. I actually can't
you okay
see
over there?
On the monitor.
Someone get Grandpa some glasses.
All right. Well, Lissandra now being banned away. LeBlanc now being banned away by Gen.G, and this could actually open up a Zoe for SKT if they just respond with another ban. You can target Syndra or Orianna, and then just go with the Zoe. But then you would end up being last picking the jungle, and I'm not sure if that's something that SK Telecom wants to do. Maybe they just ban away the Zoe here, so not to give Gen.G that pick for them. Instead, electing to ban away the Nocturne.
Yeah, this is something they did in the first game. They denied Nocturne and Elise. This time they want to target Fly's main pick in the Lissandra as well, and just let Elise slide for now. It's an interesting strategy. We'll see if it does work out here.
Well, here now the moment of truth. Will they select the jungle here and keep that mid lane counter pick available for Faker? Or it could be Sion for Faker. Who knows? And there's the Zoe. And this is just what I was talking about. Now, Gen.G can definitely respond to this with a few champions. Orianna is still on the table. Syndra is definitely one of the premier counter picks and answers to Zoe.
How about Aurelion Sol? How does that sit for you?
Nope. Aurelion Sol is the opposite of what is good. That's definitely not what we need.
It's a fly champion.
There's Victor.
Instead, he will be hopping onto the Victor and a Zac into the jungle. So definitely has the opportunity to be counterpicked and pick something aggressive here for Clid. But the Lee Sin already taken off the board means that they had this lined up and strategized for Peanut to hop onto something like Zac and just sail into the later game. Clid going to respond with Jarvan.
They're responding with Jarvan here, and that's very surprising because the Braum and the Urgot are now able to just be mid-rangey type of champions and protect the Sivir and Victor. And it's very easy now for Gen.G to play front to back against this SK Telecom team composition, who now all the eggs are in the Zoe basket. Zoe has to show up huge inside of these fights with the bubbles in order to create the openings, because you can't just take a standard Jarvan ultimate into, or a Sion engage into a J4 ultimate, because Gen.G, they can throw down the gravity field, separate Zoe and Kai'Sa from the rest of their team, and easily shred away at that front line. So Zoe, Faker, SK Telecom are going to need them this game.
Kai'Sa into the back line, but if the Kai'Sa's trying to break through Zac and Urgot as a front line and they successfully play front to back, this is not that much damage that's really getting onto the carries there.
Able to self-sustain, and that's really scary with a Zac jungle. They're definitely going to want to play team fights front to back, wait for the scaling of Victor and Sivir to come online against this team composition, and all they have to do is fade the Zoe. And it's going to be smooth sailing for Gen.G, but on the flip side, it becomes the Zoe show.
Well, he has put on a show on the Zoe before. We'll see if Faker can do it twice in a row as we do hop onto the Rift here for game number 3. The SKT fans would not like the mark on their record of a loss to Gen.G here. I would say that if Gen.G do pick up the win, would be one of the bigger upsets we have had so far.
For Lens.
So there you go.
There we go. So we'll see if Jarvan wants to do anything with that. And right here with the opening, probably nothing to approach this lane as Zoe is to try to just attack Victor's monopool. And likewise, you can try to do that as Victor, try to attack Zoe's monopool, so it doesn't have to be a straight-up fight.
It's going to be interesting to see if Fly can actually step up here against Faker this time around. We did just see the Zoe not exactly work out in game number 2. There was a lot of focus on her even from the bottom lane coming up for some ganks, even though they didn't always work out. That sweeper you were talking about, Clid, looking to get aggressive already at Peanut's blue buff.
Yeah, it looks like Clid actually wanted to try to come and catch Zac either at his Wolves or perhaps even at his Gromp, but Peanut able to fade that, and now Clid is just going to pick up the Scuttle Crab as Peanut consumes his Wolf Camp and moves into the right-hand side jungle. You can see the pings going down on the Scuttle Crab. Jarvan, I don't believe he was just spot. Oh no, they definitely saw him. A little unfortunate there for Clid.
Yeah.
And again, when you have the Sivir, you have the Victor, you have these self-sustaining laners that don't need any jungle assistance early on, Zac's able to get away with this very gross full clear, and Jarvan doesn't have the same luxury. You can see he's neglecting his Wraith camp, neglecting the Golem camp. He's getting the Scuttle Crabs, but for what? Zac doesn't have any obligation to gank early, and he's certainly not going to gank from a route where the Scuttle Crabs are somehow important. And so Peanut finding himself with a free advantage early on that he didn't even have to work for.
Yeah, it's definitely a feels-good moment when you're playing Zac and you just get to farm to your heart's content. Get to level 9, level 5 Elastic Slingshot, and really get things going with the tanky builds. But Clid's got to be the one that gets aggressive and more proactive in this game. And so far, outside of the Scuttle Crabs and the one ward, as you were mentioning, not too much else so far. So we'll just begin clearing out his own jungle. We have the very exciting matchup of Sion versus Urgot returning to the LCK up in the top side. Gotta love that. Hopefully we don't get to see too much of that lane. I'm just happy that the mid lane has returned to actual carries and champions that do damage and don't just live forever. So definitely a fan of Zoe versus LeBlanc, Zoe versus Victor, stuff like this returning to League of Legends.
And right here now, looks like Clid trying to make something happen. Peanut is right there.
Yeah.
Fly telling Faker to check himself.
Fly just baiting it a little bit here, but they see Peanut, and immediately Clid is just going to back away.
Very interesting. They pull Peanut. They keep him in mid lane. Now, Faker does still have one corrupting potion available, whereas Fly is on his last one. Khan.
Oh boy, the machine gun coming in there onto Khan. Not quite able to make it happen. The shield comes off a cooldown as we were baited into thinking maybe something could happen up here as Clid. Will he try for Cuvée? That's Khan trying to bait it a little bit here, taking a bit of damage.
I think Cuvée can read this, though. He knows that the movement from Sion isn't congruent with a story of a player of Khan's caliber.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to be that kind of HP and that forward inside of the lane. And so when you're trying to set up for a gank, your story has to be consistent, and that one just wasn't. Khan looked too comfortable farming that minion wave. And unless he just suddenly forgot how to play top lane, it really doesn't look believable at all.
I mean, that happens sometimes here in the LCK. People do forget what's going on, but I do take your point. Khan definitely giving it away a bit there, and at the end of the day, we'll just be able to farm underneath his wave, and surprise, surprise, nothing much happens up in that top lane of Sion versus Urgot.
Meanwhile, down here in the bottom lane, Teddy and Mata shoving this wave in. Ping going down on the Ocean Drake, but I do think that SKT is just going to pick up the Scuttle Crab for themselves. Maybe just leashing it for Clid, not entirely sure yet. He is making his way down towards the bottom. It does look like that is going to be the case as Clid heads to it right now. He's already level 5, and look at Peanut. He's only 4.5, despite the advantageous start that he was able to receive. Now, he does still have some camps up right now. You can see he's coming down into the golems. He actually smites that early. This could prove to be bad, but doesn't look like Clid is going to EQ over in time.
Got to be real careful with that, especially with Life and Ruler just waiting and ready to hop on that immediately if it does come down. Look at a couple of these very deep control wards already that SKT has put down. One from Khan at the blue and one from Clid at the red. As Khan trying to make this happen up on the top side. The trouble bubble, though, is going to go wide, and Cuvée able to flash away, but will be knocked up. Where's the Paddle Star? Doesn't actually come in, as Baker just going to flash over for this one. Cuvée, with no flash, will pick up the secured first blood.
Yeah, and this is really big swing right now for SKT as well, because the Urgot is actually really crucial up there in the top lane. And he doesn't have teleport available. He has the Ignite swap, and not really going to be able to find himself with any kill opportunity now. As SK Telecom, you can see Faker soloing the blue buff. And he's going to take this away from Fly, and this is really painful as a Victor, because now you're going to have to go up against a Zoe that has 2 blue buffs. Faker is going to have permanent mana in mid lane.
It's really annoying, especially when you are the Victor that would just love to ignore the Zoe, push it back as much as possible. But we're going to take another look at how this happened. They actually catch Cuvée going for the plant at near full health. And he lands the one stun, and that just allows enough time for Faker to get over.
Yeah, and he already knows that this is not going to end well. A little bit surprising to see how he chose to play out the whole thing, but nonetheless, Faker able to move with that priority that he had in mid lane, as Clid was also there, and now jumping right back into live. Clid going to get this Ocean Drake for his team. Next Dragon going to be an Infernal, and that's actually really, really important for both teams. They can't let that slide.
That's definitely quite nice as the game does move along here. The Ocean Drake, you're mentioning double blue. How about double blue and an Ocean Drake early on? Faker going to be having a ball of a time here in the mid lane after also picking up first blood. they're definitely enabling him to have a quite a nice game here to start this game 3 off.
So far, that Zoe is indeed having basically everything that she could want thus far. Although, I think that Clid took the blue buff. Wait, did he?
I don't know. Yeah, he did. He actually did take the blue buff.
That's a report if I've ever seen one. Clid trying to... Maybe he's been in contact with Steve lately, not entirely sure. He's trying to get ready.
He's getting some ideas from EUS, you know what I'm saying? Like
UNA. So...
There's no reason to give the blue to the mid lane. It's actually part of the jungle.
Yeah. Spoilers, by the way, so a little bit unfortunate. Zoe not going to have a double blue buff. And that would be extremely oppressive with the Lost Chapter as well, had they just waited on it. But instead, going to give the blue buff over to the Jarvan that doesn't need it to clear the jungle, so that he can also not use the cooldown reduction to actually do any ganks. So excellent usage of that. As he goes in now, look at how he's utilizing it with such finesse. As he clears the blue buff camp.
Full mana.
He couldn't have casted E just again had he not had that 10% reduction.
Sure,
so
yeah.
He's even recalling probably faster now because of it. Amazing.
Clid saying, well, I got you the Ocean Drake. Do you really need a second blue buff? No, it's mine.
Well,
he's farming very fast. You know, he's ahead of the Zac right now, as you would expect.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Cooldown reduction affecting his map speed as well now. So.
Imagine that. Oh, well. Transcendence, most OP rune in the game in that case.
Yeah. Well, right here, Khan just shoving in this lane, and this is a really unfortunate situation. You can already say the Ninja Tabby out for Khan. He also has the Bramble Vest. There's no damage that's going to be taking place now on that Scion, at least not up in top lane. Top lane is all but over. That's now a lonely island, if I've ever seen one. Peanut locating Clid, not able to really do anything with it, and Dragon's coming up in 2 minutes.
That's the big one, for sure. You'll notice right now SKT has 3 control wards on the top side of the map. You could try to go for this before the Infernal. That's what I was about to say. The Rift Herald coming on in. You can see that SKT, they love to rotate the bottom lane up to the top side when that Rift Herald is coming down. And already Peanut forced to blow his ultimate, so Clid might just be able to get this one for free.
And this is definitely just going to be a free Rift Herald here at around 11 minutes and 40 seconds. And this is really unfortunate for SKT. Peanut is just being bullied right now.
Yeah. Khan stole it!
All right, that's some TOS, if I've ever seen it.
This is Agatha's mine. Spy Girl. As she does steal her way. And it's just a series of very unfortunate events on the side of Gen.G. They lose Zac ultimate. And they lose Agatha. That's the biggest one for sure.
Yeah.
The Rift Herald as well. But now SKT definitely in a fantastic spot to, send Rift Herald down, maybe get a couple of plates, and then immediately rotate over to the Infernal.
And both top laners, they have teleport right now, but Khan, with the amount of priority that he has, I would really like to just see him shove in this next wave, recall and run straight to the Dragon, and then teleport back up into top lane, or just stay in bottom, because after the Dragon's consumed, you want Khan in the bottom lane at that point. You rotate your top lane or your bottom lane up into top. You look to try to capture the turrets. Also, if you're SKT, you probably want to use that Herald before the plates end up expiring so that you can convert it into a lot of gold.
That's what I was thinking, but it looks like they're not going to go for it just yet. Maybe they'll head over to the Infernal first. You can see how hard they're clamping down on that one, but Mata looks like he's backing on a ward, as they do know that the cow has gone back home. So a nice amount of information at least given to Gen.G.
And Gen.G now the ones with priority, it seems, for the Dragon. Zoe is also recalled too. Gen.G could just burst this and they don't even realize that they could. Victor easily can just laser the wave. They could have just picked up that Infernal Drake, but they don't know it, and so they're not capitalizing on this opportunity. There would have been no way for SK Telecom to stop it. Now it looks like Gen.G are going to be the one that lose priority. This is some Let me give you some antonyms here, Brendan. This is some excellent gameplay.
You got anything else?
No, I don't.
Only one?
SK Telecom, though, they're gonna capture themselves this Infernal Drake.
Yeah. As Gen.G, you were mentioning it, right? They take control. They may have been able to burst that one down, but as it stands, they're going to give it over to SKT as Gen.G do not seem comfortable to go for a fight or force any objectives right now. And so a fantastic second Drake here given over to the side of SKT. Third one not going to give any redemption to the side of Gen.G as a second Ocean Drake shows his head here on the Rift.
And that will actually give Gen.G some breathing room, knowing that it's an ocean and not a mountain or another Infernal, because that could prove to be disastrous around the 19-minute mark. That's where the Scion and the Jarvan, they would be tending to spike while you're still waiting for some of the item completions on the Urgot and on the Victor and Sivir to come through. So given that it's an ocean, they're going to be able to comfortably sit back and basically be like, hey, SKT, you can't actually get Baron. And now we're going to look to summon the Rift Herald at 15 minutes. Plates expire at 14.
Yeah.
For everyone watching.
That's just a refresher there. Thank you for that one. Level 8's here from Peanut, but still able to land the stretching strikes. They're looking to turn it around, but uh-oh, that one went very wide. Let's see if Teddy can actually get on in there and get the passive. Yes, he can. Will SKT try to get on top of that one? Faker might look for it, but nice block here from Fly. Not quite going to pay the price for it as he saves his friend in Peanut.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get another replay of this. There's some stuff I really do want to talk about just now with Teddy, Faker, and Mata. I feel like Peanut definitely could have gone down there. Fly was trying his best to save his teammate. Ended up doing so in the end as top turret looking like it's poised to fall. And
oh yeah, Cubey, he puts himself in a bad spot there with the disdain. Nice timing on the stopwatch, but unfortunately, it does not matter. They give the kill up to SKT, and the turret also goes the way of SKT.
Yeah, and meanwhile, down in bottom lane, Teddy and Mata able to crash this wave in. And now it looks like they're going to try to clear out some vision. As SK Telecom, they continue to extend their gold lead, and remember, they have that Infernal Drake. Taking another look at this replay instead of the one on Peanut in mid lane. And Urgot, you can just see, it doesn't matter that Peanut was here. He uses the stopwatch, but he was going to go down anyway. SK Telecom able to convert that into the first turret capture of the game.
Peanut, the last time he tried for this play, he was actually on a ward, and that gave Faker the room to dodge the slingshot, get away from the Zac. Peanut was also level 8, so it wasn't quite as long. But really trying to make this play work onto Faker as he does not have his flash, but it looks like Faker is going to respect vision and just not get anywhere near this one. Lots of pings going down on the brush that the Zac and the Braum are actually in, and Faker farming as safely as possible.
Well, now we enter into the LOL state again, Brendan. Are you ready?
Oh, it's my favorite one.
This is it. This is how you
There are
really
a lot of states,
prepare.
you know, I'm from New York, you're from Rhode Island, but the LOL state, that's the best one.
Can't get it anywhere else except for the LCK.
Summoner's Rift.
Summoner's Rift is where you can find it.
What do you think about this build onto Kai'Sa? The Infinity Edge first, a return to just the crit builds on 9.3.
Well, ever since the change to Stormrazor, making it a terrible item, at least on this patch, until it potentially, I think it ends up getting changed again in 9.4, but I'm not totally sure on that. This is the build of choice that a lot of Kai'Sas have been going. You do get the critical damage. It allows Kai'Sa's abilities to come online and just provides her with the best option and ways to scale into the later stages of the game.
Okay, trying to punish Faker here, but he's going to try to avoid that stun, but he still goes down. Faker will get stunned at the last second. Clid coming in, but the TP from Scion, Peanut forced to flash away.
Whoa.
But he hops over, but he still goes down. And here is Teddy from the bot lane, but there's the fear beyond death. Clid gets a little bit too low. And Mata and Khan tanky enough for Gen.G to say, okay, we'll take the 2 kills. We'll be fine with the 2-for-1 trade.
Yeah, in Gen.G, that is a really big pickup for them right there. And Ruler, meanwhile, in bottom lane, he just got a cannon wave. He's going to get himself a turret. And just look at the gold swing now that just happened for Gen.G. This was a really big wake-up, and this is what they needed to stay in the game. Probably take another quick look at the replay here after Life is done securing this. And now, take a look at this. Peanut, he just barely misses Faker as Faker's able to dodge that away. The bubble, not quite able to put him to sleep, and Fly just has way too much damage. And right here, Cuvee, you can see he hits Clid with the projector, and he tells him, hey, come look at some Golden Guardians here. As the Fear Beyond Death. That's what they're all watching. And Khan not able to do anything beyond that. And Gen.G get a much-needed victory to stay alive in this game. Gold gap only 900 now.
That's definitely fantastic. It buys them a lot more time for the Sivir to eventually come online, the Victor as well. Their composition with Zach, Victor, Sivir, and of course Urgot is going to be loving that late game. So they buy themselves a lot of time. They also have 3 stopwatches in a row. It's kind of cool to see. We'll see if maybe that can work out for them, as here comes Sion from the top lane, as they are really looking to punish this Ocean Drake, saying, no, this is ours. Get the hell out of the Dragon Pit. But Khan going to lose that engage tool. They're just going to burst down the Ocean Drake. Khan still considering an engage here, but now he's in an awful spot, as there goes the Fear Beyond Death, and he's just going to sack his life, saying, here, take me with you. It's only fair for the Ocean.
Well, Khan ends up dying, and now the gold gap only about 500, 400 gold now. And Gen.G are finding a way to claw back into the game, and this is supposed to be where SK Telecom should have been well positioned. And now it looks like their mid-tier 1 turret going to get raised, and SKT now on the back foot in this game.
Definitely has been a couple of pretty good capitalizations, I'd say, from Gen.G. Being proactive with the Zac after level 9, really trying to punish Faker with this flash down. They get that, they make the play happen, they get a turret, and now they actually get an extra kill, and they're totally fine to give away the extra Ocean here. Not really caring about that one.
And you just take a look at this and you wonder, what is Khan actually doing? He's trying to zone off opponents that already clearly are showing no interest in trying to steal the dragon or contest it, and ends up losing his own life for it. And so right now you also take a look at Khan's build and look at the gold difference. It was always in SK Telecom's favor. Now Gen.G slowly crawling ahead, but SK Telecom actually back up 200 gold. The problem right now is in the mid game, you look at the itemization across the board, Khan has only pure armor. So Victor and Zac are actually dealing damage to him. And with Victor about to complete his second core item, Urgot just picked that up for himself. Sivir now also at 2 core items. Gen.G are probably going to be looking to team fight. Baron not really on the table though for either team.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before we do get to that one. Do have the Rage Blade second completed here from Teddy, so definitely going to be doing some sick damage. More of a scaling up build here and a safer build from the side of Ruler, who does get the Phantom Dancer after Essence Reaver on the side of the Sivir. Zac also slowly making his way towards that Warmogs. We'll see if he can hit that at the level 12 mark, which is essentially what you need to hit the 3,000 health for the passive on that item.
Even gold now, exactly at 2237. And both teams just trying to clear out vision. SK Telecom with 4 members committed on the right-hand side. I guess they really want to try to get that bottom tier 1 turret. And Cuvee says, you know what, buddy, you can have it.
Yeah, not too concerned about that one. Clip comes down and helps out with a bunch of attack speed. And they're easily going to be able to take this one out as Cuvee hides on Bush in the bottom lane. But that does mean that Ruler and Peanut can just attempt to trade up in the top side, so not losing too much.
Well, here we go now. As looks like SK Telecom posturing around mid lane. Yeah, Fly has to be really careful.
Okay. Was able to get that ward down, and he just used his laser to poke, so can't actually stop the mid lane. And that does mean with Sion ulting in, SKT make a very strong arm move to take out that mid-tier 1.
They do get it for themselves, and That's really key vision around the mid part of the map. You don't want that to be alive when Victor just starts wave clearing immediately with the Sivir. It can become really difficult to try to break it. Ocean Drake now, another one coming up in 1 minute and 10 seconds. And if you're SK Telecom, realistically, you don't need the third one. You could just let that one live until 30 minutes and then eat it to force an Elder to spawn, given that Zoe is the only true win condition the longer that this game ends up going. So having that Elder available to you could definitely prove to be advantageous. Or you consume it and try to roll another Infernal.
Yeah.
What would you do, Brendan?
Is it lucky day? That's the real question here for the side of SKT, as a nice play. Khan hiding on Bush himself this time around is going to force a flash away from QV. Will have to be a bit more respectful in the bottom lane.
You ever wonder if the hide on Bush ID is a typo?
I thought it was just assumed to be. As, yeah, I mean, myself, I kind of assumed that it was.
Okay. I mean, the I and the O are right next to each other on the keyboard, so...
Yeah.
But hide on Bush, you know...
Well, it's more of like a Konglish thing, you know what I mean? Like, just a phrase that may have been lost in translation a little bit there.
All right.
Either way, has gone down in history as one of the big IDs, of course. You guys may have heard of him.
I think he plays for SKT.
Yeah, I'm still not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still working on that one. Yeah. As Baron is started here by Teddy and Clid. Division is not down just yet. Faker and Mata trying to zone them. But speaking of zoning, how about a kill to get the big zone down as one trouble bubble leads to his death here. And now Juve really trying to force a 4v5. Not sure about that one. He's going to be put in the death chamber. Will trade his life for the 1-for-1. As they do give another kill over to both AD carries, it seems, at the end of this one.
That's
Faker,
a very fast Zoe.
He's so fast with the Righteous Glory. Picked it up as, well, Spell Shield going to deny that one. Peanut playing the Zac is able to get away from danger.
That actually has to be so fun, moving that speed on Zoe. Oh, man. Well, SK Telecom now, they're going to pick up an Ocean Drake off of that. Gold is still very, very close at the top.
Get your poker chips out.
Yeah.
What's it going to be? As Peanut desperately wanted this, and, well, he's going to go down for it as no siree.
Huh?
You will, okay, even Redemption coming on in, saying maybe we can kill him, as absolutely not. Faker, he's sniping right now. Doing a really good job on the Zoe, making huge use of the walls here towards the Baron pit.
Faker is going off in this game so far. He's been doing phenomenally on this Zoe.
Yeah.
And so some very unfortunate deaths on the side of Gen.G. Gold gap now increases to 2K. And with Cloud Drake coming up in 4.5 minutes, not the most exciting dragon. Definitely not something to lose the game over. And we're back into the LoL state. You excited? Let's take another quick look at this replay. Life doesn't really like his life, apparently, as he gets blown to pieces. And then after this, QV decides that he wants to follow suit and says, you know what, I'll take you with me.
Yeah. This is the one where I'm really not sure, like, yeah, you can chip away, but the most you're going to get is the 1-for-1, you feel, especially up against the Jarvan.
Yeah. He just ends up going down, and then that was completely blind, I think. He was going for that. I'm not really quite sure what he was hoping to accomplish. His teammates aren't even in close proximity. Not really sure what he was trying to do there. I think that he doesn't like his passive, is what I'm getting. He doesn't like the blobs.
Yeah, you know, just give it away.
Yeah, he hates Flubber.
It's okay with that.
Did you ever watch Flubber as a kid?
Yeah, I did. I don't really remember too much about it, though. I just remember the moment where the Flubber's bouncing around the room. That was a fun moment.
You know what I think another big problem here is in this game is that he's not the Majin Buu Zac.
Yeah?
I think that's definitely affecting his gameplay.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. I'm an analyst,
by
the way.
Oh, I thought you were a coach. You're an analyst, actually?
Yeah.
Okay, this is very confusing. As well, Zoe having fun. I feel like I've seen this before as trying to get that drift on. Here comes Sion into the back line. Khan is so tanky right now. Can they burst through him, though, with that magic damage you were talking about? Big redemption as Peanut just going to disappear. Faker says, nuh-uh, I'm going to take you out, and down he will go. SKT going to come out ahead with 1 kill.
That was a really big fight, and they have to be so careful right now. This Zoe.
Faker's feeling it right now. He flashes on in, is able to get the damage down, surprises Ruler, also lands a trouble bubble to get another kill.
Yeah, and he's been so on point with the Zoe this series. You know, we were talking about how Faker just got his first MVP here in Week 5. He's going to get 2 tonight, Brendan, and if he doesn't, we're going to have to call for a recount. It's going to be the presidential election here. So.
We'll get G-Sun down here to cast Jinner in the next series. If that happens. No, I think he absolutely should pick it up here. It's been some fantastic play. Great engage as well.
Fantastic engage. Able to use that stopwatch, and then Faker right on top reminded Peanut, hey, you don't have your passive. Nice dragon, by the way. And then immediately they head to the Baron, and Gen.G, they have absolutely no vision, and Faker says, don't worry, I'll show myself. As he's able to just hit another bubble and then take life with him.
Yeah. And he surprised Ruler, too. I mean, he used his own flash to make that play, essentially by himself, to get in range for not only the paddle star, but, of course, the trouble bubble that was the actual ability that netted them the kill. So it's a big deal for SKT. They take out a couple of kills, another trouble bubble lands, and now they have Baron really trying to put the nail in the coffin here as SKT.
Yep. And this is going to be a very difficult push to survive. Yes, Victor and Sivir are fantastic wave clear champions. We're not at 5 items, 6 items just yet. They don't have massive amounts of damage, able to just shred through these minions, despite being known for that. And so right now, SK Telecom trying to make quick work of this bottom tier 2 turret. And remember, they have Ocean Drakes, and normally I'm not one to hold back my punches on Ocean Drakes in mid and late transitions, but when you have Baron, they suddenly actually become really useful again.
I mean, especially once you get them stacking, too. You get one Ocean Drake, you're not really going to notice it, but Faker, he's taking poke, but he's able to dish it out more and then just regen back so much more with the triple Ocean. They have, of course, the Infernal as well, as it's just the Faker sniper show as they push a bunch of turrets.
We talked about the Zoe needed to show up big here for SKT, and it has done just that in this game number 3. So far, though, Baron, only 1 minute and 14 seconds remaining. They're not getting the most advantages out of it that you would have expected. However, they do have almost a 7K gold lead here for SKT. Last team fight, you can see Jarvan, he's helping.
Quote-unquote team fight,
right? Yeah, team fight. Zoe and friends.
Zoe and only 2 sidekicks.
Whoa, Peanut has to be really careful there.
Bada trying to make a case for some more Zoe abilities to land, as we weren't satisfied with only 2 turrets going down. They want to take out even more, as they do get a top tier 2. Push was coming in there from Khan, but he's not going to overstay his welcome, as he's just going to go back and buy. So, huge gold swing going over to the side of SKT now, about 7,000 gold ahead. And all the items in the world hopping onto all their members.
And as weird as it sounds right now, without an inhibitor having gone down, Baron now is going to be ways away. Elder isn't going to be coming up on the table anytime soon. SK Telecom, if Zoe doesn't land any bubbles that create picks, they can't perforate the base of Gen.G. Victor's going to get to his death cap. Sivir's going to get to 4 items. Honestly, Gen.G is still actually in this game here as we're approaching the 40-minute mark. SK Telecom, they can keep their 8,000 gold lead. 8,000 gold doesn't mean anything when everyone has all their items.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, as the game comes along, Sivir's eventually going to hit 4 or 5 items. You may even consider fighting for the spar by SKT. But Faker is on point. They are looking to play a bit better as a team. Teddy certainly hasn't been the highlight of this game so far. It's really been the Faker show. But he's got a lot of items, and he's playing Kai'Sa. So the second you get that engage going, he can also wreak havoc in that back line.
Baron now coming up in about a minute and 15 seconds. Elder will follow suit just a couple of moments after that. So if SKT get the Baron, they're going to be able to convert it most likely into enough pressure that lets them get the Elder, as long as they don't just consume it as soon as it spawns. And oh, I think Peanut might be able to try to... that's a... You have a smite DF key. Right.
He was scared. You know.
Right below the R and E on the keyboard.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
is that where it is? Is that where you put your smite?
Well, it depends what keyboard you have. You know.
What?
Do you play with smite on F or D?
D.
Get off his desk.
God, the analysts here at the LCK. There's something going wrong, guys. I don't know what to say. Like, both of you are Delashers. I don't know what that's about.
Oh,
man. Sorry for that, LS. I'm really sorry you had to, play the game that way. Big handicap for sure. As, Faker picked up the Rabadon's death cap. He is going to be having some big-time plays, but again, as you mentioned, he's got to hit those abilities. And if they get hardcore engaged as the later game comes along and Zoe's not able to output her damage, it's really going to be only up to Teddy. So definitely could be anyone's game here, although SKT does have the advantage.
And the Baron did just get hit by Teddy. Yeah, oh, man.
Peanut, that's not where you want to be. He takes a huge amount of mana. Able to get the big follow-up. Peanut, he is in so much trouble. The Ignite. Oh, man, they're not going to kill him. He lives with 1 health, but...
No.
Okay, he's got Warmox too. That's not enough. They're going to start the Baron. I can see the future flashing before my eyes right now. Look at Peanut's health. He's still in this fight as Clid. Going to take a bunch of damage here, but Sleeping Trouble Bubble now onto Braum. Life. Oh, no. Well, he does have his own stopwatch. Faker looking for the angle. Oh, he hits the Sivir, but Zach into the back line. Focus down the Peanut. Get him down. They're going to get him as well. Teddy takes out the Braum here. And Fly forced to cleanse that last Trouble Bubble. 2 members go down on the side of Gen.G. It doesn't look like SKT is done just yet. Gen.G still on the run, and Fly, he's going to get burst down by the Kai'Sa. See you later. And you can say the same here to the Urgot. He's even going to flash.
The Zoe is putting everyone to sleep.
It's Faker show, man. He's just doing it over and over and over again.
And I think SK Telecom, they just want to end. There is a lot of death timers still remaining. 34 seconds until Fly comes up. 45 for Urgot. And there's no way Ruler is going to be able to stop this push. Khan just saying, hey, look at me. Z is eating all the aggro, and it just doesn't matter. The Nexus turrets fall.
It's another one. There it is. Another win as well for SKT. And you'd have to imagine another MVP for the man in the mid lane. He's finally got a big smile on his face. He knows he's done the big-time damage in this one, and certainly deserved. SKT, a scary game 1. Gotta admit, that was very messy.
Yeah.
And frightening for SKT fans. What does that mean if they're going to show up sometimes like that in games number 1? Right. But game 2 and 3, they certainly came out tonight.
They came out swinging. Faker with a huge wake-up in game number 3. So impressed, actually. Looks nothing like game number 1 and 2 for him. The Zoe play was absolutely phenomenal, and it's what SK Telecom needed in this 3rd game. They can feel satisfied with winning 2-1 here. And Gen.G, I mean, that game number 1, that is a glimmer of hope, though. If they could play like that in more games throughout the season, they can definitely recover in standings and have a real standing chance. And Fly, looking like he might still be asleep.
Yeah, he always kind of looks like that, LS.
Zoe does that.
And honestly, Faker simultaneously putting everybody to sleep and waking everybody up with his hype plays, as unfortunately the losses continue to roll through here for Gen.G. They pick up their 6th one, I believe. After that, Game 3, not really the game you were looking for as well from Peanut. I was, you know, kind of questioning what was going on with the Zach that time around, but hopefully sometime, some way, he can turn the season around. But definitely good news for SKT. Was looking scary there for a moment. You'd have to imagine that Faker does get the double MVP here. He actually looked pretty cute as he looked really excited after that Game 3. I think he definitely knew that he had done a good job.
Yeah, I would hope that he knew. I mean, the Zoe performance was phenomenal in that game. I can't keep saying it enough.
Yeah.
It was such a core component to how that team composition would actually be able to bring down Gen.G. And it came through in the exact way that you would envision, that it needed to come through. And it was just a stellar performance. So if he doesn't get MVP, then this is rigged. But I'm just throwing that out there. All right. And let's take another quick look at the highlights. Very surprised we don't get a last teamfight replay. But let's just take a look at Faker here.
Maybe later on.
Yeah.
As in the beginning, we were like, Faker?
Yeah.
Faker, hello? And then
picks up the kill.
Trying to do my best LS impression
right there. Yeah, Faker, hello.
And then he actually did come back in a big way.
He hits life right there with the bubble, end up picking up a kill on...
Faker's like not even battle starring the enemy team at that point. He's like, there's no way they're going to engage, right?
Yeah, he was concerned with the CS.
He's like, wait, please, take me with you.
Taking a look at this team fight here. Peanut didn't quite have his passive available as he committed to trying to get that Ocean Drake second before. And look at Faker, quick to isolate him and lock him down and bring him out. Yeah. And then the final team fight, I mean, that's where Zoe really went off. But before that, we'll take another quick look at another bubble that lands onto life.
To have the wherewithal there as well to know that, okay, I used my own flash and I can secure a kill.
Jigglypuff was pissed in this team fight. And you can see that it actually looked like SK Telecom was gonna be pushed back, but it just didn't matter. Peanut said he was helping.
Zoe.
Yeah, best Leroy Jenkins impression I've ever seen. As he just got completely locked down, even though he was able to go all the way back up with the Warmogs. Just keep watching Jigglypuff in this fight. Fantastic bubbles and paddle stars dishing out consistent streams of damage. Zoning right there, Fly able to be locked down by Teddy, flashed over, but it was too little too late. SK Telecom, they made the call to end the game off it. And that was pretty much it.
Fantastic performance from them this time around. Really got to hand it to Faker and squad as the damage numbers certainly tell the story of this game. As 30,000 here in about 35 minutes does go the way of Faker Zoe. Should be speaking to only him tonight. Could be refreshing for Faker fans who have just been waiting and waiting for this guy to actually pick up an MVP. And he gets 2 at the same time in the same day. Gotta hand it to him.
Well, I'm curious to see what his comments will be. Maybe, you know, maybe the question will even be popped, how does it feel getting the MVP this late into the split? But he's surrounded by fantastic teammates. So it's not like, you know, this isn't the Faker show anymore. This SK Telecom lineup has a lot of star players, and they're all extremely capable and strong. But it is refreshing, I'm sure, for a lot of viewers to finally see Faker get it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know what that was.
Okay. 5-1-8. He picks up his second MVP tonight.